Welcome to Music in the Making. We are 3 high school and junior high music teachers from West Central Illinois. Each week we will talk about our experiences in the classroom, community, and personal lives too. We're no experts by any means, but any help we can provide to our audience of music friends is why we pursue this new venture. Please welcome your hosts, Lisa Hallen, Art Martinez, and Kevin Ferry. Well, you have to speak up pretty loud because you're really far away from the microphone.
She's not loud at all.
Nope.
I like your hoodie, Kevin. Is that
I just
new?
got it, yeah.
That's nice.
Went up and got shirts for Looper, and Kendall was like, "Oh, we've got these new shirts." So,
Yeah, I like the color. That's cool.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good intro. Welcome back, everyone, to the next episode of Music in the Making. Lisa's shaking her head because every time we have an intro, it's actually like so organic.
That's
it is.
A word for
it is. Also, what's the other word that we use? It's therapeutic.
Yep. It's therapeutic to be around Kat Martinez.
Right. We have
Dr. Mrs.
Yeah, Dr. Mrs. Kat Martinez with us today.
In my world, that's all gone.
There was an incident involving a very friendly text and a reply with a very harsh joke. So
we should just
essentially,
Kevin better be ready.
Whoa!
Wait, I
didn't say anything.
I'll do
You
it later.
said it. You just bleep it.
I will. Oh, because you said a bad
Better
word.
be ready. We're coming in hot, babe. Me, T-Mobile SMS error. The subscriber you're trying to reach has blocked incoming texts from this number.
Okay, with the look on his face when he received that, especially when Siri was reading to it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. But I also kind of knew something was fishy because we don't use T-Mobile.
You know,
so
we're all supposed to be friends here. And
We used to all be friends in our music department. I thought that was like something we had going for us.
I know, and then Kat had to go and ruin it all.
Mm-hmm. It's nice how it lasted.
So,
pranks on
Guess I
Friday.
better get on Indeed.
ZipRecruiter now. Anyway, welcome back to another episode, guys. Today's topic, we thought we'd actually just talk about something simple, our favorite pieces of music. So, we obviously this episode could go very long, so I think we should definitely do a part 2 of this because there's just so many pieces out there. But I think we'll just kind of go around, maybe say 1 or 2 pieces that we really like. It could be a recent piece or just like of all time. We could even maybe just mention what we like most about it, whether it be like a favorite memory or maybe it's a teaching tool, which also would be.
Nobody's favorite song is a teaching tool. Stop it.
You never know.
You don't choose your favorite song for a teaching tool.
You don't choose.
I get you're trying to be educational and kowtow to all the academics out there. You don't pick a favorite song because most of the time your favorite song is something you've either played or sung before, correct? Yes. Not directed. And I get that. So it wasn't as you were sitting there rehearsing the bassoon, 2 part, because you weren't good enough to be bassoon 1.
Oh, ouch.
I don't even want a bassoon 1. It's hard.
Kevin needs to take some deep cleansing sighs.
I guess.
He has to go to
But
football.
you're not sitting there thinking, this has very good educational value.
So the next time he wants to teach an Italian piece, he's going to choose an English piece to teach Italian. I got it. I got you. Smelling what you're stepping in.
Portuguese.
Anyway, so, why don't we just go around the room and just say a couple of our favorite pieces of all time.
I think Miss Allen should start.
I think Miss Allen should also start.
Well, I'm glad you started with that, Mr. Ferry, talking about it being something we've played before, because I was thinking about this and I was like, I am such a sentimental person. Like, so many of my favorites are because of the rehearsal process, the ensemble I was in, the performances. So I was just like, I don't like it's also good music. Like I wouldn't like if it wasn't good music, but so much of it is just the environment that I was playing it in or performing it in. So all-time favorite, American Overture for band.
Oh. You and your four horn part. saga or
Heck
whatever.
yes. I have now.
John Williams is my favorite.
I have now performed that 4 times, and I have performed all 4 parts, so I have completed it. I guess next I need to conduct it, but I think I would just be sad because I would want to be playing it. So
You can use your horn.
yeah. The times that we should have a camera. So number 1,
We do.
Pines of Rome. Number 2,
Yep.
specifically with Dr. Cat Martinez playing the trumpet solo. So good. It's specifically our performance at the Chicagoland Band Festival with the WRU Wind Ensemble.
Go next.
Go Next. I don't actually know if that's the name of that, but that was just
remember.
such a good performance.
Thank you.
So
It
good.
was a great.
That was
Meh.
like, you have all these
You had to be
band
there.
kids in the audience, and they're so excited, and the energy was just there.
That's where Artie and I first met. actually.
Wow,
Now that
it
means
was
even more.
electric. Wow. Yes. Mr. Fornuff and I
electric.
talk about that performance all the time. It was just such a good run of that piece.
The future Mr. Howland.
The future Mr. Howell.
Some- yes, exactly.
I'm just telling you, your initials have to be FH, because if it's not FH, it's not horn French, it's French horn. It's Fornoff Helen.
Fornuff Helen. I see.
Lisa FH. It's gotta be. It's
But
destined.
the International Horn Society says the official name for that instrument is just horn. So
There's like 10 people in that group. It's a Facebook group, I'm pretty sure, too.
Can they really be called the international if there's 10 people in it?
As a guy in Canada, I think.
It's
Rude.
Lisa, it's Emily Pickrell, the horn player at Western,
Crispin.
Crispin,
He's not even
because
a
she
horn
made
player.
him,
Yeah.
and then the guy from Canada.
a student asked this morning or today if me and Mrs. Pickrell were sisters. I was like, no, but I wish. That'd be so fun. Okay, no. So those 2, Pines of Rome, again, also played it at. Wait, I already said that. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. Sorry, I was trying to say Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So good. That was also like my first semester in wind ensemble, I'm pretty sure. So like that was like the meatiest, like first, like that. I feel like that was my first, like this felt very hard college literature.
Right. To clarify, Symphony No. 1 by Johann de May.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that last name. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was just like, I'm just gonna skirt past that. But thank you.
That's a great piece of music.
It's so good.
35 years at Midwest. He's gonna do his
I'm
little talk.
so
It's
excited.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be packed, I bet.
I think about Mr. Nigel Range from Lincoln High School playing the Gollum soprano saxophone solo.
Shout out
Shout out.
Shout out whoever she just said.
to Nigel.
So good.
I mean, he would nail that thing though. Like it's such a crazy solo in general, but it's like awesome.
Yes.
Mr. Ferry in the choir world.
Yeah, what's weird is just this week I introduced a piece to the kids that we're going to sing at IMEC, and it's not the greatest piece of choral literature ever written, and it's not even close. But it has that sentimental side to me, and it's a choir piece called "In the Upper Room," and it is exactly what you think it is. It's Christ talking to the disciples that children, I am here but a little while. Where I go, you cannot follow. If you seek, you will not find me. Still, you know I am the way. And then it's got take and eat the bread and my body, and it's the words are really just straight out of that biblical text. But it's very emotional. It's very moving. And I shared with them why it's my favorite piece, because those of you that went to a college that actually took a week-long choir tour, the choir tour, and I'm sure, I don't know if you guys went on band tours, but choir tour at Culver Stockton was a week long. Like, our spring break was given up, and we went to Minneapolis, Atlanta, Tulsa, Memphis. And Memphis was the first year I was on choir tour, and I was 21. That's a whole different experience. But anyway, when we went on tour, we'd sing at a high school in the morning, a high school in the afternoon, and then we'd sing at a church at night. And so we'd eat all that yummy church food, and then we had homestays where we'd stay with people from the church. And you know, I'll never forget, we were in Nashville one year, and we stayed with a state legislator on top of a hill overlooking the city, beautiful house, 2 BMW convertibles that he let us take. He drove one, and one of our buddies drove the other one, and he took us on a tour around, you know, the hills of Nashville. As we're, and then the next morning we get to the bus and we're like, "How was your homestay? How was your homestay?" And then, you know, we're at this state senator's house, and somebody's in a trailer park somewhere. You know, just who ever went to that church. And anyway, so at the church performance, the last song we sang every church performance was in the upper room, and we did it in the round. So I was a bass one, and 2 of my best friends, Paul Fleege and Paul Minnick.
Shout
out. 2 of my best friends were bass 2s, fraternity brothers, so on and so forth. And because we were bass 1 and bass 2s, we never stood by each other. Not one single time in 4 years did we stand near each other. Well, when you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, you sing that song, and the seniors can't even sing it. Like, everybody else has to do it because it's the last choir tour, last church performance, so on and so forth. The last church performance we were at, he stands us on the risers, and there's Paul Fleege, myself, Paul Minnick, standing right by each other. Never happened before. We're like, what is this? What is McSpadden doing? This is crazy. And so we got in the round, and we're standing right next to each other, and the intro starts playing, and the 3 of us kind of look at each other, and that was it. We lost it. I didn't sing a note of that song. And we've done it a couple times. I've performed it directed it a couple times, and we're gonna put it on the IMEC program just as kind of a tribute to my college professor. So I took a lot of time to say, just that's my absolute favorite choir song in the world. Again, not difficult, not the greatest choir piece ever written, but it's mine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you 2 done texting each other back and
I'm
forth?
trying- hold on.
Use that. I'll go next. You know, I'm a sucker for like the classics of concert band repertoire. I mean, like, you know, like I'm sure like First Suite, like everyone's like, oh, it's so great, and there are some great ones, but I think like some other ones that maybe people don't talk about enough. Number 1, El Camino Real. Love that piece. Like, that is just like, I played Alfred Reed in high school. We did. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking now.
Great thing to do on a podcast.
I just had it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'll figure it out in a minute. Anyway, we played it was like first Alfred Reed song. It's like the one that everyone does. I'll look it up later. Anyway.
Russian Christmas music.
No, it's like, it's the other one.
Lumberjack Overture.
Armenian Dances, part 1.
Yeah.
I was like, it's A something. All right, Armenian Dance part. That was the first Alfred Reed I ever played. And I got to Western, and we did El Camino Real, and I'm pretty sure I did it like 4 times in 1 year for concerts. And I mean, like, I loved it every single time. But like, there's just something about that piece that it's like that. As soon as that opening starts, it is just, you are on that road, you are on that King's Road, and like you are driving that whole way. It's so Alfred Reedy with the B section, and then like when he comes back to like the third portion of the song, it is the A section and the B section like totally combined, and it's just such in a really well written way, super fun. Love that piece. So like, I mean, I love the classics, but like something that's maybe a classic but maybe people don't think of right away, that's number 1.
That's a good horn piece too.
Horn's like ripping throughout the whole thing, the entire time. It's for sure. The other one I thought of, Lincoln Portrait. Aaron Copland. Now, I was like, when I experienced that piece as the concert band realm, like having a piece with narrator was never something I thought existed. Like, I mean, it goes to show how naive you are about a library of things that have happened, right? And this piece is really cool because it's like Aaron Copland wrote this piece set to actual quotes of Abraham Lincoln. And the way that he kind of writes these themes of Lincoln, and he does a really good job of just like capturing this old America kind of sound, very like I really have no way to explain it. Like Aaron Copland just knows how to write and describe America with his music, and the way that this, you know, he does it with these quotes. I mean, he really sets it up nicely. And I've actually done a couple of the pieces that are like similar to this, but nothing hits home more than this. Not only that, but the James Earl Jones version, having him say it. So Darth Vader.
I know who James Earl
I was
Jones is.
looking at Lisa because she looked at me and she made a face of who I don't know who that is. So I said Darth
He's
Vader.
the old man on Sambo.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Forever. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, like his version in particular, just like the way that he, like the gravitas of how he says it is just really, really hits home. And I think the quotes for sure are like that are taken from Lincoln and his like Gettysburg Address and whatnot are just it goes to show how far this country has come since then. And I think it's just a really, really cool representation through music and like personal experience. So I think those are like two that I thought about I'd talk about today because like I think they're different than most people would think. And maybe you've never heard of these pieces, and any of these pieces we're talking about today, like you should look them up because like they're important to us and they might change your life like they did. Dr. Mrs., how about you?
She's busy texting.
I'm making a list.
Checking it twice.
Grocery?
Okay, this is hard.
You're making a list of favorites. You didn't
Yes.
even prep her on the topic on the
don't.
car ride here.
Not really.
Let me guess. Trumpet voluntary.
No.
Buglers holiday.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
It's fun to play, but
She had never played that until like last year or whatever
No,
it was.
2 years ago.
2 years ago for like the
I've
first
heard
time.
it all my life, but I never got to play it. And then finally, Meaty Van's just like, all right.
What a better way to do it than me.
Anyway, okay. Lincolnshire Posy is my number one. Always will be. Lots of special memories tied to that one, just as a trumpet player in general. Philip Spark, Dance Movements. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah,
That was a really fun one.
that was.
Very brass heavy, like just a lot of challenging parts. And then,
nothing for the second bassoon player.
I don't know, I didn't
The
pay
wooden
attention.
parts kind of suck.
I'd say my like most beloved piece that just gets me every time, and I feel like it's a cliche answer, but is On a Hymn Song of Philip Bliss. I feel like that one just like moves me to tears every single time I hear it, which is based on the hymn "It Is Well with My Soul." So
It is swell.
it is well with my soul.
It is swell.
So it makes my tear ducts swell when I hear it. So anyway, yeah, I'd say those three, but it depends on if you're performing or listening. That's the thing. If you're performing, give me the technical, fun pieces
That's very true.
that I'm like, that I remember being a challenge learning and just being a huge team effort to learn. Those have the most special memories. But if I'm just listening, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Because like when you're listening to something and you're just like sitting there, you're like, man, I wish I could be up there with them.
Yes.
There's pieces that I wish I would be able to play rather than listen to, and vice versa. So.
And then it's always fun too. Like listening to Pines of Rome, I will like feel like tension as I'm getting ready for that that we had to rehearse so much, and like just like because I remember there was like a bass clarinet da 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 da. That's right before the horns come in, and I was playing fourth horn on that, and just like the adrenaline coming up, like oh we're about to come in.
And then we've got the little. No, is it English horn? Yeah. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
That part. Anyway, yeah.
And like you just like listening to music years later can just take you back to what it felt like performing it or rehearsing it, and I also get that way with the opening of suite the whole first suite, because like low brass comes
Very
in
much so.
and that like it's such a exposed entrance, and like Crispin was playing tuba, and like I just, again, not that I'm nervous that he's gonna mess it up, but I just like have this like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
we
you get
rehearse
this-
it, you want it to sound so good, and oh my gosh,
It's
like
a reverence thing.
Yeah.
Because the piece is so respected and it's so well known. Like, you go to any sort of band thing and everybody's like, first suite in E flat, again, everybody knows it, so you don't want to mess it up.
Yes.
So you sit there and you're very like reverent and serious about it because you want everybody to be on the same field, on the same, wavelength as you are.
So I have this theory about the whole suites. I have a theory that your favorite one is the one you performed first. Does that hold true for you
Yes.
guys? Yes?
I like both of the one, like whole first suite, and I like the second suite.
Why have you played Moorside Suite though? That's also
Yes,
another good
but
one.
I feel like that one's my least favorite because it wasn't like the one that I performed the most. I performed first suite in undergrad, master's, doctorate. I did it in every degree. So I think like every time I played it, I made it better than the last. And so like the last time I played it was during the doctorate, and it was one of the best performances I remember. So like,
I did second and third movement for the conducting competition thing at Western.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
so there, yeah.
But
I
I've
had
never.
an experience.
Yeah. But like I've only performed it a couple times, and I've only done second suite maybe once. Playing
I
it.
think we do
playing
second suite a lot during mini band.
I like
We read
second
it.
suite's my
It's really
favorite.
fun.
We
I
read
like
it, I think,
it's
a
just
couple years
the
ago, but-
melodies are so catchy.
They are.
And
The Dargason one is like what everyone knows
Yes.
remembers of second movement.
Yes.
can I say a choir song too? Favorite
Yes.
choir song? My favorite choir song that Mr. Ferry has not yet programmed for me, I'm just saying, is The Boy Who Picked Up His Feet to Fly.
I don't even know that song.
Yes,
I
we
do.
do.
Wait.
Yes.
Ben Eric Whittaker.
I don't think so, but maybe.
Or
No,
he
it's
had
not.
he had a piece called Fly.
I talked to you about it.
I know
because
that
it was
piece,
an
though.
all-state piece years ago. Soaring and spinning and touching the sky. No. Okay, because I told
It's
her, I was like,
really
hey,
good.
I want you to do this, and you were like, that's really
Joshua
hard.
Shank.
And I was like, you are really good. So that's not an excuse.
Joshua Shank.
Joshua Shank.
Email that to me. I'll look at
It's
it.
such a good piece.
Is it?
It's so. I think what I really
remember
like.
where
It's
I
very
heard it,
rhythmically interesting. I did it in
complex.
concert choir at WIU with Dr. Hawkins, and just like, I was just like, oh, it's just, it feels very bandy for
Sure.
a choir song.
Yeah. No, and there, like, I have several pieces that I absolutely love. Art, when you said the oldies but goodies kind of thing, like, I love Battle of Jericho and Elijah Rock by Moses Hogan. I absolutely love performing those. I love directing those and when you break those songs down, like, they look monstrous, and they are. But if your choir is above average, you can pull those off. I mean, especially in the Battle of Jericho, the chorus is just 3-part girls, parallel thirds, 90% of the time, and the basses and tenors are just Joshua fit the battle, yes, the battle. I mean, it's just so repetitive. One of my favorite things that we've ever done was Bali Laka, and it was about, I don't know, it was huge for about 4 or 5 years in the choral, at least around here. Like, Augustana did it, we did it, Augustana College did it, we did it. Galesburg had done it, Galesburg High School. Like, it had kind of made its rounds around here, and just a fun piece. Indian dialect, India, and that's so different than how we sing and how we perform, because everything has to be at the front of the mouth rather than the way we talk and sing it. It's in the back. Crazy little story, and maybe I've told you guys this, but we performed that contest, I think it was 2015 or 2016, and we were at Rock Ridge, and it was our final piece. And at the time, Jordan Van Dyke was the percussion guy at Monmouth College, and we had hired him and 2 or 3 students to do the percussion for us, and they came in the week of contest, and we worked, and just when you add that, the energy just took off, because these people could really, really play. It wasn't having students just try to, and so it was really, really good. But we went to contest, and we're supposed to warm up at like 4:30 and perform at 5-ish, whatever it was. And 4:30 rolls around, and my percussion ensemble isn't there yet. They're not there yet, and I'm freaking out. And at the time, Jessica Zabransky was a band director at Rock Ridge. And she looked, and she used to be here. She was a band director here when I first started. And she looked at me and she goes, "What's the matter?" I said, "No, we're fine." She's like, "Stop. I can tell something's wrong. What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, my percussion ensemble isn't here and we're doing Balilaka. And we need our percussion ensemble." And her student teacher at the time was from Augustana, who had just done Balilaka.
There you go.
And so she looked at Jessica and said, "Grab this kid and this kid, the four of us, we can do it." And so they went into I handed them a piece of music. They went into the band room and practiced a little bit. And then we met up in the choir warm-up room. We ran through it once, then we went on stage. And so what was really cool was because we had a couple of Rock Ridge students, a Rock Ridge teacher, and that student teacher from Rock Ridge, everybody from Rock Ridge was in the auditorium as well as everybody from Monmouth Roseville. So the place was packed to the gills. And this Balilaka, if you've never heard it, is an insanely ridiculous, awesome song.
That's awesome.
And they play, we got a standing ovation. The place went absolutely nuts. I mean, we just, like, and I'm looking over, the kids are pretty much on their own, right? When you get to contests, as long as you bring them in together, they can, and I'm just kind of conducting them, come in, get out, you know, and it was so much fun. And it's such, we're going to do Balilaka this year for a contest.
Nice.
So I'm going to bring it back.
Bringing it back.
Run it back.
Run it back.
Run it back. So, I mean, and there's like, we all can sit here for an hour and talk about our favorite songs and why. And probably, I would say, I mean, I don't know how you guys, I don't know what songs you're talking about. My band experience was a little bit different, and it was 30 years ago, right? But I'll never forget, in college, we did the P-A-R-T-E, Magnificat. It has no time signatures, no key signature, no measures. They've got dotted lines to kind of signify, and it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 8, it could be 1. And it's, very, very dissonant and just super cool. It's like a 6-minute song, it seems like, but just how difficult it was to rehearse and try to get together, and how our director at the time was like, "Okay, stand in a circle, put your left hand on the shoulder of the person to your left, tap, tap, tap." So we subdivided, and I mean, just the hours, it seemed like hours of rehearsal just to make that sound anywhere decent. But that I would love to ever direct that piece. I would love to. It's one of those that's out of the reach, right? You just, I don't know that it matters how good our group ever gets.
It would be worth reading it just for the sake of like seeing.
Say, hey, look at this. Look at, yeah. I mean, it's super cool.
It's sometimes worth just like saying like, look, that sounds super complicated, but it really is just like, it's just eighth notes. It's just quarter notes.
Well, and it gets lost. Like when we were doing our remote learning assignments back in the fall of 2020, like part of mine was, hey, listen to this piece of music and tell me what you think about it. And when you listen to the song, especially high school kids that don't know jack about jack, that was one of the songs I put on there. I'm like, you need to listen to this song. It's really super cool. And they're like, I don't get it. This, and it's one of those. I think if you live through it, you appreciate it because it's a freaking monster and it's really awesome. But like I think a lot of what we picked, maybe I'm wrong, is like this is something we did in college because, but and the high school directors that may be listening to our podcast, or junior high directors listening to our podcast, I think we probably need to have another one that just like, these are our favorite tunes to direct.
Oh yeah,
and,
for
and,
sure.
And then we can get into the educational value of this is why I always choose this piece, or it's in my rotation of every 4 years, every 5 years, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But because I was having a conversation with somebody today about like choral lit classes, and I'm sure instrumental lit classes, you're going through this list of stuff that you don't know. Well, not that you don't know, that in your high school world, for most of us, I'm sure there are high schools, in suburbia or, in those really, really super good programs that they can do some of this stuff. But like junior high and high school directors, choir directors need to know who Jay Altas is, Greg Gilpin, Andy Beck, Mary Lynn Lightfoot, Sally Albrecht. They need to, Victor Johnson. They need to know who these people are because they're the people that are writing for that level of music, and not. I know when I went through, I got a binder that said medieval music, Renaissance music, blah blah blah, and I'm like, my kids are never going to do this.
Yeah.
It's important that we do, but
Right.
I think I've told college professors forever, give high school teachers a day to come in and talk to your kids, your choral lit kids or your instrumental lit kids about what it's really like and what resources you need to actually find repertoire and what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you. Because if you walk out of college and are like, well, I loved the Battle of Jericho, I loved the Magnificat by part, I loved this song, I loved this song, I want to do that for my concert. Well, most of us aren't going to be able to walk into a program and do those songs. We're just not going to be able to. So how do you find those songs? And most of us go back to, okay, what did I sing in high school? What did I sing in junior high? Because you're going to remember that. But there's so much out there that.
Well, even some newer composers are trying to go, I think, find those roots. They're not doing only like a certain grade level. They are realizing that like, the younger grades need help too. Or the programs that are smaller need help too.
Yeah.
But they can sound really good still.
Yeah. Well, and I think in the band world, what do you guys call it? Like part one,
band.
Flex band,
yeah.
right? They went to flex band, and I think one of the things they did for high school choirs, developmental choirs, junior high choirs, is go to SSAB, rather than SAB, because sometimes a baritone part is written so poorly, you don't hit that middle ground to where you've got kids, it's too high for half of your basses and tenors, it's too low for some, it's too high for your basses, too low for your tenors. But the SSAB is kind of replaced. Hey, we can put those altos down a little bit, and I'm not a huge fan of SSAB music, but I mean it's out there and it's people are able to do it for sure. But yeah, I digress. That could be an episode for another time. The composers and arrangers and things that people should be looking out for.
I will make this one really quick story, but for choral music though, because since they had their choral song, mine is this, and I told you about it, the Sakyarvan polka. It's Brad Holmes. I'm pretty sure he was the one that wrote it. Wow.
From Milliken?
Yeah, Milliken. Yeah.
Brad Holmes writes some amazing stuff.
So like,
well, is he a butler now?
good question. I don't know.
I think he's a butler now.
He might be.
Yeah, he was
But
from Milliken.
I vividly remember being in choir in high school, and my director, Chad Getz, shout out, he took the madrigals to Milliken, and I can't remember if it was like an IMEA event. It might have been like an IMEA prep sort of thing. And Milliken performed for us that night, and that was one of the songs they did.
Yeah.
And it's an accordion arrangement of an accordion polka, but it's like 8-part. And so they're like, you have like split between the tenors and the basses, and there's no words. It's just like.
Do you realize that you guys, every time you've talked about a song, you've sang a little bit of it? I'm the singer, and I'm not saying one little bit.
I will have you know, I was proud of myself. I was like, wow, like.
Well, because
6
if you don't
years
know
ago,
it,
Lisa would have never have put anything singing in front of a microphone. Like, this is growth, okay?
this is 6 years.
I'm not
in the future,
confident
Lisa.
in my singing voice.
I'm
but
so
I
proud of
just
Lisa
did.
Hallen.
Yeah.
Thank you. I needed that.
Yeah.
So proud. We're so lucky
She's
to have
the
Lisa
best.
Hallen.
She's the best.
She is. She is.
Anyway, but it was so cool because it's like you have like, and it's also like they made it a battle between like between like two sopranos, and then there's like this guy who comes in. It's super fun, so creative.
Yeah, we've done a couple of Brad Holmes things. The first one we did was Star in the East, and the way he wrote it, it's awesome. It's in the Old English style of 2 and emphasis on 1. But what Brad does is so interesting with that piece is you add back in the diphthong. And so you almost get this Irish feel. And the kids love it. I teach it as, brightest and best of, look, I'm singing now. Sons of the morning. And then you're brightest and best of the sons of the morning. And so when you get that big group, I think you've heard us do it before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and it's got claps and stuff in it. It's really fun. But that's the only Brad Holmes piece I'd ever done until last year.
But do you all know what song he's talking about?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope. I was just distracted because I thought you said diphthong.
I did say
You did,
diphthong.
yeah. Diphthong. You said dip. You said dip.
I said bong.
I
Okay.
texted Lisa. I said, "Did he just say diphthong?"
Yeah, do you know what a diphthong is?
No.
Okay.
Obviously I don't.
Okay. So, take a vowel like A.
A.
A is 2 vowel sounds that make 1. It's A and E. I, A. Do you hear the difference? So you've got an E on it. Take I.
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 Now you just sound Canadian.
I know, right?
Well,
I.
that's
A Ozer. Strange brew. Shout out.
Yeah, that's right. Rick Moranis.
So diphthong is 2 vowel sounds that make 1, like the letter I, because when you sing I, the horizon, you would sing the ah, the horizon. You would never hear a choir do that because, well, it sounds awful, except when Brad Holmes says do this in Star in the East, and it's hilarious.
And it's also when you talk about early American singing versus
Yeah.
now, which is cool, by the way. Like, I think, like, that portion of, like, early American history.
Look, I taught a
I
music
feel-
teacher something today.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just asking an honest question that everybody else who doesn't know what that means was asking themselves when they heard you say that word.
Diphthong? But what was so funny?
Son of a diphthong.
What is so funny is I will introduce that word in junior high choir and get the same reaction.
It's
So
Friday,
Dr.
yeah, I
Cat
can't help
Martinez,
Dr.
Dr.
Moses.
Cat Martinez thought diphthong was a funny word.
I still
Still
think it's
does.
funny. You know
Still
what?
does.
Whenever I still hear the word hemiola, I think it's a disease.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, there's a hemiola there. Well, that sounds
Call that.
serious.
I have hemorrhoids.
You might want to go get that checked out.
Hemorrhoids.
You can't sit with us, Megan.
Yeah.
I can't sit
Anyone
anywhere.
remember Vines?
Yes.
If you remember Vine,
can't-
email
I know what
us.
they are, but
There's
it's
the
a
one
visual
where we're
thing.
just
It's a
talking
visual
about-
thing, so I
the
don't
one where
care.
It's like, what was it?
Did you see this
can't
picture?
sit with
No,
us.
I didn't
You
see
can't
it.
sit with us. Megan, I can't sit anywhere. I have hemorrhoids. That's right. If you remember that Vine, you can email us at
Music in the Making Pod at gmail.com.
yeah,
That
we're
was
on.
so
We are
good.
on IG at Music in the Making Podcast. We're on YouTube now. Music
No,
in the
just
Making
pod.
Podcast. Oh, is it just Music in the Pod?
I think so.
Oh yeah. No.
no.
The YouTube is Music in the Making Podcast. To better search that, put in quotes "Music in the Making," as Kevin likes to call it. That's the old way of doing it.
That's how you used to
apparently.
Google stuff. If you want it, you put it in quotes.
To be specific.
Yep.
IG is Music in the Making Pod. Facebook page also Music in the Making Podcast. Email us anytime with questions or what. How about this time for this week? You let us know what your favorite piece of music is, and we can maybe discuss that next time we bring
Any
the subject
kind
up.
of piece of music, even if it's
Boomwhackers.
Bon Jovi.
Greatest band of all time.
Music.
Dude, we could get into an electronic music conversation for sure.
Well,
'cause
I need
we
to-
all,
we can
did
bring
we
it-
all
we
have
bring it,
Caldwell? Did we all have Caldwell?
Yes.
Yeah.
We all had Caldwell,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I know we
Shout
talked
out,
about it.
shout out.
Caldwell. The pony. Did he have the ponytail with
No.
you guys?
No.
Oh, we had ponytail
it.
Caldwell. We had ponytail Caldwell.
Did he talk like when he was at the piano? Come on, Jim.
No, we did. We didn't. We were in a classroom. There was no
Okay,
piano ever.
unshout out. We don't want to embarrass him.
I love him so much.
Yeah, somebody needs to like, because this is 2 episodes in a row, or 2 out of 3 that we've mentioned. What's his first name?
Jim.
Jim Caldwell? James Caldwell?
There's a fans of Dr. Caldwell Facebook group we could
Stop.
post
Blow it up.
in.
Blow
There you
it
go.
up,
Oh,
people.
absolutely. Absolutely. That guy was. He was.
He is a legend.
Well, no, well, but yeah, I mean, I had class with him
Fun fact: he still plays
25 years ago. I mean,
trombone for the Muni Band.
And in the Post 6 Jazz Band. It's
Mrs.
awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
can fun facts please be fun from now on?
Emily also had him,
Starting now.
so he taught all of the Monmouth Roseville Music Department. Isn't that wild?
That is
Did
pretty
you actually
crazy.
have him as a teacher?
Yeah, I had him first semester. And then I switched to Paccioni.
Wow.
I did have
that's
Paccioni
incredible.
too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Actually, no,
Yeah.
that's not true. That's not true. I'd never had Paccioni as a teacher. In the electronic music class that I took over the summer with Dr. Caldwell, Paccioni was a student.
Oh,
He was. No, he went to class every day.
Yeah.
No, Paccioni was a student. He wanted to.
How old was he?
He wanted to learn.
Oh,
well, he wanted to learn. Yeah.
I don't know. This was 25 years
Learning
ago.
has no limit.
Yeah, I mean, lifelong learner. Diphthong. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Don't do that when I'm taking a drink.
You're gonna look at art tonight when you guys are laying in bed and go diphthong. And that'll
Yes,
be
with our
funny.
can
two
we just
dogs and cat.
bleep that out?
No bleeping.
Or organic.
I haven't sworn once.
Therapeutic.
I have not
I
sworn
haven't
once.
either.
Well, you
I was
took it
quoting
earlier.
what you said.
Yeah, you did.
And you
But
did
you still
cuss at
said,
me.
but you did say it though.
But that's a private text message. That now I know.
anymore.
Now I know
All our
nothing.
listeners-
Nothing with cat is
sacred.
Nothing with cat is private.
Nope.
That's just. That's poor to me, Cat. That's poor to me.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Till next time.
Goodbye.
Diphthong.